live right now. Hello. We are here. We are playing for the Queen tonight, and just bear with me while I adjust this very temperamental OBS thing. Okay. Hi. Welcome. We are playing for the Queen tonight. Before that, of course, a couple of quick announcements. We now have a Discord. Or not Discord, jeez. Patreon. It's gonna be one of those days already.
You got it. You got this. You got this.
Okay. We have a Patreon now. You can... We have a Patreon now. We want to be able to reach out to artists and stuff. With that, it helps cover all those costs. You can support the channel there. There's lots of good content. If you're interested in my notes from Wednesday's Monster of the Week, they're up there now. We also have some wonderful sponsors. Tabletop Loot. They got all your dice needs there. Devin Rue, she's the mistress of maps, and some very good maps there. And So Nerdwear. It's what the nerds wear, including lots and lots of our lovely merch. And if you use the code WELCOME, you can get 10% off there. I feel like I'm forgetting one or two things. Oh, Discord. The thing I messed up on first. Yes, we do have Discord. You can join us there if you want to be a part of all these lovely games we have going on, like this one here. Okay, so everybody, you all looked at your potential queens here. Yes,
Shogun, I don't think we know what you want at all.
Opinions.
Some feelings are being felt. Some opinions are being made known.
Mm-hmm.
Subtly.
Okay.
Of course. I can verify we do have sound.
All right. So aside from that one queen,
Yes, from that one queen that somebody seems very interested in.
who else?
Who
I
else
see
we got?
queen down at the bottom.
Okay, so this one as well.
Ooh, okay.
That's a cool one.
Hey,
Yeah.
stay over here. Okay.
All the rest of you to the trash heap of history.
Oh my.
Can you tell us about For the Queen?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So
Yeah, I definitely don't know what's going on.
Fun times, joy times, good times. Lots of queens.
For the
Maybe
Queen
meta times.
is pretty simple. What we're basically you'll draw a card. Oh, when we start, I'll go first. I'll start the round, and then you'll read the question, the prompt, and you'll answer that. If anybody has any questions after you answer the prompt, feel free to ask. You're of course always welcome to not answer. Just say, I'm not comfortable answering that, or divert the question away. If you get a question that you don't like, I'll move these queens around. There's this X here. Just put the card there. and then draw another one. That's your little X card power. If you get a question that you think the person next in the turn order from you would be more interesting to answer, you can pass to them. That is all the basic rules. Now, when me and Capjack played this last week, we had a little twist. So if you want to influence the game for 100 bits, sounds reasonable. You can do, well, for one round, we'll draw our card and we'll reveal a secret. For 500 bits, we will do basically, so it's auto pass and reveal a secret. So I'll draw a card and I'll ask, let's see, so
Yes, what is our order?
Yeah.
I'm going to figure that out.
I mean, we could just roll die.
So it'll go from me to Michi, Fox to Tarstan, Shogun, Wild, and then Capjack.
I'm after who?
After Tarstan.
Okay.
Kirsten.
Remember who is before you and after you.
Yeah, I already done lost the order. I'm going to make a notepad. Give me a second.
Oh yeah, I've got a text file open.
In the
So.
chat.
Yeah. So what it is we're building a narrative. And so you're a member of the Queen's retinue as you travel, and we'll build a narrative until one of us draws. Is that all of the ones? Did I get them all?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
Feels right? Feels right.
Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do.
I find these queens acceptable.
Hey, all three of the ones I was stuck between got picked, so I'm
Okay.
okay with this.
Cool.
Okay.
And the order is in roll 20.
Oh, thank you so much. You're an absolute angel.
No, they're not.
Awesome.
I've been called that before.
Listen,
Wrong game, sorry.
I played like one game with them, all right? So like, I don't know. And we were kobolds, so how am I supposed to calibrate that? Like, we're all terrible. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
They seemed fine to me.
Okay, so
Ooh.
there we go. Roll the 1. So
Yes.
here's
Yeah.
our queen.
All right.
And okay, so
That's
yeah,
a
we're
good one.
building a narrative, and once we draw the card, the queen is being attacked. You will decide whether or not to defend the queen. Now, I'm gonna make sure real quick that card.
So all these questions that are pulled up or these prompts are basically questions to create a
Narrative.
character,
Yeah,
a
and
persona and character and all that.
yep. So you'll add in.
So it'd be like a question like, "Do you like the queen or not?" sort of thing,
Yeah.
and then you
More or less,
and by
yeah.
that you build your character.
Yep. By that you build your
Okay.
character, and we will be building who the queen is
Cool.
and what's happening. Why you're traveling with the queen and all that. So let's see. First card.
Ooh.
Ooh, good start. What makes the queen beautiful in your eyes? Gotta come up with who I am, I suppose. I should think about that. Try not to do the same thing I did last time, so I think I'm in love with the queen. So that makes her very beautiful to me.
Have you been in love
What
with
about the
queen?
queen made you fall in love with her?
Nope.
Cat beat me to it.
I think I find the queen incredibly generous. As for a long time, yes. We'll say yes.
Okay.
Is it a requited love?
Good question.
Ooh. No.
Do you think you're the only one?
Definitely not.
Does the queen know you love her?
Yes. Let's make it.
Does
Let's
it-
make it interesting right off the bat.
Does anyone else know that you love her?
That's a good question. You know, if the queen knows, I'll say yes. There are other people who know.
I like it already. All right.
All right. So next in the order, Michi.
Saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it, and did you come to respect her more or less afterwards? Ooh. I'm gonna have to think about this for a second. I saw her make a deal with some bandits that were going to rob the retinue. And I did respect her more after that. Rather than just always throwing her authority around, she's looking after the people she cares about.
What was the deal she struck? Like, if they were going to rob us anyway.
I don't know. I just saw her hand them a pouch.
Is it her fault we were in danger in the first place?
Yes.
Are the bandits still around?
As far as I'm aware, no.
Are you sure they were bandits?
No. That is the story I was told afterwards.
By the queen herself, or?
Yes.
Okay. Huh.
Anybody else have any more questions?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Fox.
Oh no. So here's the funny part. How do I
Oh,
do
Click on the prompts.
yeah, when you go over the prompts, it'll stick out a little bit, and if you just grab that and drag it.
Come on. Ahaha. Excellent. Sorry, a little new to this. What did you bring with you to protect the queen? Oh, wow. Okay. So we're on a perilous journey with the queen, and it's for something important. So, like, a boring answer is like, I brought a sword with me. An interesting answer would be more like I brought a desperate need to succeed, kind of a like, I'm willing to go to any lengths. I will do whatever she commands, and I will put myself in whatever danger she wishes in order to protect her and complete the mission.
Why?
Because the stakes are so high. Because we can't afford to let our like foolishness or lackadaisical nature. We can't let ourselves, our poor mortal flesh, like get in the way of something that's like that has this much weight to it.
So is that for the nation or for her? Like, is it loyalty to protecting what she represents as leader, or her personally?
I think for me, it's more about the nation than the person. I have tremendous respect for the queen, but she, at the end of the day, is a means to an end. And the people, ultimately, I think, are who I'm interested in protecting. So I will serve her to serve them.
Would this, you say you brought a desperation, right?
Yeah.
Would this lead you to do an act that you would consider protecting the queen from herself?
Oh, wow. No, I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, she's too vital to the mission itself. So even if it seemed foolish, I would still follow her orders.
Do you know what the mission is?
Yeah, I feel like I do, but I'm being cagey about it. Like, I have a little bit of information that I'm keeping from y'all, that for whatever reason she's decided to trust me with, probably because of my zealotry. But all I'm supposed to be telling you is that, like, nope, we just have to escort her to this place, make sure she is intact, and make sure that everything she brought with her goes with her. We don't leave her behind. We don't leave any of her stuff behind. But that's all I'm willing to say about it.
Okay.
Is your station such that you're normally in contact with the queen?
Yes, like, I'm some kind of high-ranking military official. Like, I am a captain of the guard or a general or something. I have
Queen's
a very
personal guard.
yeah, personal
Ooh,
guard works
okay.
actually really good. Yes, because a very intimate business relationship with the queen. So she and I are close, but it's because we work together like every day on stuff.
Do things for the good of the nation. Would you betray the queen if it was for the good of the nation?
You can always not answer to.
Yeah, I'll say maybe to that. Maybe.
Would you mislead someone without the queen's asking if you consider it to be for the queen?
Yeah, I'm not a robot. I think if it would help her, I would definitely take that initiative.
Okay, so Tarstan, draw a card.
Joy. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Meanwhile,
Oh dear.
oh, that's good. I love this game already. Holy shit, that's so good.
She won me over with her generosity and the caring of her for her people.
Are you from this kingdom?
No.
Then why isn't she your queen?
What I guess when you're done with that question, what brought you here then? Why'd you come to this country?
Yeah.
It was a mission from another country who didn't like her.
Would you betray her if you felt you could put someone better in her place?
Only if she turns against her subjects.
Are you a spy?
That is a good question.
So, what kind of generosity towards your people? Like, was it like a provision of goods, or like a monetary thing, or was it just like how? In what way did you find her generous?
I saw the interchange with the bandits and found out more information about that deal. They were from a starving town on the outlying side of the kingdom, and she also sent some more provisions and food to them.
how long have you been in court if their allegiance to the queen is somewhat fresh?
Not long. Few months, couple of years, maybe.
Any other questions? Okay. Shogun, it's your turn.
The part of you that does not want peace in this land. Why are you attached to the war?
Oh yeah, I forgot that the kingdom's at
There's a
war.
war.
Apparently.
War?
Oh,
Oh,
there's war.
now I know I'm
that's right.
We're on like a mission to end the war. That's
Yeah.
why we're here, right?
Yeah, something like that. I forgot about that.
Okay.
long.
By the way, bit of a war.
I mean, you know, I'm not,
Small one.
like I says, a part of me doesn't want peace. A part of me does, but it's, since most of her soldiers are my soldiers, and she pays well for their time, you know, it's nice for this war to go on. I don't feel like we're in any actual danger. Like, we've got this under control. This war can go on for a year or two more with no real trouble, I think.
So if the retinue fails in their journey, do you stand to personally profit from this?
Potentially. I might be more interested in just the retinue maybe just taking a little bit longer to get there.
Okay.
Would you sabotage peace talks to prolong the war?
I think sabotage is maybe an extreme way of putting it. More just, you know, just slow things down. Just you know, if peace talks are, hey, we'll hand over this stuff, you know, we'll give up this territory or something, just, you know, get an archaeologist or not an archaeologist, like someone who has to do with maps, a cartographer, to like argue about the position of a river or something, to just make things take a bit longer to draw the borders.
Were you surprised when the bandit showed up?
No. The bandits are they're folks from part of my I'm a vassal of the queen, and part of my land. Those folks came from there because they were not particularly well cared for, and I knew that they would come to the queen to bring their complaints, and I had intention, that was my intent, to get them to slog down the war by very, very minor rebellions. But that didn't exactly go as I'd hoped.
Is it just about the money for you, or do you have a personal stake?
Money, and very soon our house will be known as the House of War. Our warriors, all our soldiers, our knights will be the ones that everyone thinks of as the people. We will become just the army of this country.
So, since you're from a vassal state, were you absorbed into our kingdom through war or through diplomacy?
It's unimportant. It happened forever ago. Like, our family has been a part of this nation for longer than most.
Okay.
And well, you know, it was probably a war or something at one time, but
That's so long ago, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Okay.
We're a very powerful noble house within this country. And we're pretty happy with that.
Yeah, real quick. Just want to throw out a quick thank you to Wiley Hobbit for 12 months being subscribed to the channel.
Boy.
What?
I did that wrong the first time.
All right. Any more questions? Okay. Wild, it's your turn.
Man, the queen cannot catch a break tonight.
We're trying to make her a great queen. No.
Heavy is the head. Holy cow.
The queen was responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who and what happened? Why?
That
Nice
escalated
light,
quickly.
easy breathing question. No problem.
No pressure.
See, the queen killed my father because he tried to start a rebellion.
Are you interested in continuing his work?
Right now, I am 50-50. If the queen seems to quash down too much, I would rebel. If she seems to have seen the error in her ways, I would calm down.
How did,
Did
you end
you-
up part of the retinue?
It was, we were always part of it. This was a peasant rebellion. And I ended up joining the guard afterwards because the family needed money. Surprisingly, the queen chose not to destroy the rest of the family because of my father's actions.
Is the queen aware of your relation to him? Does she know? It was you, like your father?
She does not seem to care. She does not seem to look at me as anyone of importance.
What is holding your hand from immediately rebelling?
Simply the fact that the queen showed mercy on the rest of my family and not associating the sins of my father with the rest of us.
All right. Jack, I think it's your turn.
See if we can catch the queen a break. Hey, there we go.
Our queen kind of seems all right. I don't know.
She's just had some hard moments in life.
Yeah, she's dealing with a lot.
Everyone makes mistakes. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a war after all.
The queen gave you a compliment once. What was it, and why have her words stayed with you? Answer from last time, and I'm trying to avoid using that one.
Did you get this one before?
No, but I have that character stuck in the head. I'm trying to clear out new really fast. Because I wasn't expecting this one.
I don't think we've expected anything so far.
I think the queen complimented my resiliency. I was a mercenary during the peasant rebellions. Not particularly high ranking or anything, but I survived a number of battles against the peasants. And the queen noted my resiliency and awarded me with a place of honor and me a place in her retinue.
Why do you respect the queen?
I didn't say I did or didn't.
Okay, let me rephrase. Do you respect the queen?
I'm not ready to answer that one yet. Let's throw some mystery at it.
Does she pay well?
Very.
Okay.
The queen is very monetarily generous.
Are you still a mercenary?
Yes.
Are you directly responsible for Wild's father getting caught and killed? Like, directly responsible? Like, it was part of an action you were involved in?
Yes. Now let's make it interesting.
Awesome.
I'm the one that swung the blade.
Great.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. We're doing cool.
Quick escalation.
In the revolt, what, like fighting against the revolts, what, other than taking out major leadership within the revolt, what kind of just abuses of war did you sustain that made you look impressive to the queen? Like, yeah, what particular brutalities did you suffer?
I was captured for a month and tortured during that time. Lost an eye. Let's see. Frequently was the only one of their party to come back from a given raid, but always dealt out more than was given.
How much pride do you take in that?
Extreme.
Do you recognize me as the son of my father?
No.
But just to clarify, the queen super does.
Yeah, the queen knows both of you and who you both are.
Okay,
And
that's what I
apparently
thought.
doesn't care.
Okay, cool. Our queen enjoys social time bombs. That's cool.
Does she give you any outside missions for her? For missions that aren't out in the public?
Yes.
Are those missions against me in any way?
Well, I don't know yet.
Are they against her own people? Like,
Yes.
generally speaking? Okay.
It's not. It. I'll hold on that one for now. Just yes.
Do you care either way?
Not one bit.
Cool. Cool and good.
Would you betray the queen for the right amount of money?
Ring?
What was that?
Are you offering?
Maybe. Who knows? Night's still young.
Got a real big escalation on that one.
My queen, I've heard some things. We should talk.
Any more questions?
Do you consider yourself unaligned with any queen?
As in, do I consider myself very much a free agent?
Yes.
Politics aren't what interest me.
Do you know why I came to the country?
No.
Any more questions?
I'm good.
Good.
Alright.
Nope.
Or wait, are we all like mercenaries?
No,
No.
I'm part of the I'm captain guard.
There's
Like
a few of us.
I am a stone cold patriot. Are you kidding me?
Oh, well,
Just secretary.
you know.
Ugh.
Oh dear.
You suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiations? What else do you believe is going on, and why? I think I suspect that the Queen's motives are more about meeting a love interest than diplomatic. I think I found or intercepted some letters.
How do you feel about them?
I don't like it.
Have you shared that information with anyone else in the retinue?
That question.
Cap's good at reading minds, apparently.
No.
Did you hide this information so no one else could find out?
No, if I intercepted the letters, which I'm not saying I did, they still found their way to the Queen. So
This individual, are they from our side or the other side?
I think they're a neutral party involved in the no negotiations.
So, are they a person of like equal station to the queen, or is this someone of different status?
I don't think I can tell from letters.
Okay.
After knowing all of this, do you still trust the Queen?
No comment.
Is this an affair or is the Queen looking for a suitor?
That's a good question.
The right suitor could end the war.
That is true.
Wrong suitor could extend it.
I think it has the potential of going in that direction.
Do you know who the suitor is?
Yes, they signed the letter.
Are they in the retinue?
Good question. That's such a good question.
Dun, dun.
10 points for Gryffindor. That is so good.
I don't think
I
we
think
know
Cap's
that
more of a-
information yet.
Excellent.
I think Cap's more of a Slytherin.
Well,
No,
That's my old house. A Hufflepuff.
Is that it?
Would you recognize this person if you saw them?
No, I don't think I know what they look like.
Were the letters signed by a seal or by actual like signature?
Signature.
Okay.
They weren't sealed. I don't know if that's on purpose or because there wasn't a seal, but they were not sealed.
were these letters delivered before we left on our journey, or did we receive them en route to our destination?
Oh, before.
Okay.
I have not seen a messenger since we left.
Are these letters beyond reproach?
No.
Ooh,
They might be
nice. It's a real good one.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Michi.
Let's see how much trouble she gets in now.
I love this one.
Man, what did you do, Michi?
There is a false rumor about you and the queen back at the royal court. What is it, and how did it start? So, because I am the queen's personal secretary, and therefore have a lot of access to her, the rumor is that I am secretly influencing her to do things she would not otherwise do. And those rumors started when some of the rebellions started popping up. She seemed to deal with them with a tougher hand than usual.
How do you feel about these rumors? Are you like annoyed, or you don't care?
I'm not annoyed by them. I'm more annoyed that these rumors would put a larger target on my back.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are the rumors true?
It's a really
Oh,
good
no, this
question.
is a false rumor.
Yeah, it's on the card.
Oh,
Oh.
I was going to ask the exact same question. I was like, oh, wait, never mind.
I won't lie, I thought it too.
Do the rumors state whether you are supposedly influencing her to gain power for yourself, like to sort of be a behind the throne leader yourself, or are you doing it on behalf, supposedly, on behalf of someone else?
The rumors are that I am trying to seize power for myself.
Did the queen believe the rumor even a little bit?
Oh no, I've been her secretary since she was a princess.
Do you know who started the rumors?
Not yet.
I was actually going to ask that.
Did these rumors, in fact, undermine her authority in any way, or otherwise make her look lesser?
I think that was the intent of them. I'm not sure if they achieved that or not.
okay. Amendment to my question. Would you like the rumors to be true?
Ooh.
All right. Choose
I
wisely.
would not like the rumors to be true. Currently.
Have you done anything to stop the rumors?
No, I've done nothing to stop them.
Because the queen.
No, she hasn't either.
Have you done anything to capitalize on the rumors?
You could say that. Having some of the staff afraid of what power you may have keeps them in line a little bit.
Does the queen care about the rumors?
No. She knows they're not true.
Okay, Fox, I think it's your turn.
'Tis. Let us a card draw. Do. What brings out the queen's kindness? Bandits, apparently. don't know. I feel like our queen's kind of a goodie so far. So like, I feel like genuine pleas for compassion, perhaps. People that are honestly in a bad position or that ask for mercy, I think, is really what brings out her kindness. She's kind of a softie in that regard.
Is that why Wild's family was spared?
Absolutely. 100%. It was like, this guy was the problem, and I've already done so much to make you suffer as a result of it. So I will do no more harm to your family after that. She was very pragmatic about the punishment.
How do individuals take advantage of that? Speaking as one.
How do individuals take advantage of that? Wow.
Cough, cough, maniacal laugh.
Boy, I'm not really sure, actually. I don't know, because I feel like a lot of my job is kind of keeping people from her because she is so readily taken advantage of in that regard. So on the off chance that they get through, yeah, it's like it's kind of the easy stuff. It's the sad stories. It's the obvious shows of weakness and deference or humbleness. Certainly, like any feigned like humbleness. She's very like, oh well, you poor creature. Please let me lift you up. You'll be fine now. I will fix everything. Which is why I keep people the hell away from her as much as possible, because I think she's a rube.
So you think that she is naive?
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't think that she's like an active threat to the country, but I think that she lets her lesser qualities get the better of her, and that ne'er-do-wells might take advantage of that and put the entire nation at risk. And I'm not willing to let that happen.
Have you ever felt this kindness was a front?
I think I suspected at first, but over the years I came to realize that it was a genuine, in my eyes, threat. And so, yeah, she definitely means it. I think she really is that nice.
Was she the one that was supposed to ascend to the throne? No, I don't think so. I think that there was a little bit of upheaval. I think we lost. I think maybe there was like a really terrible like group assassination or something. Like there was a fire or there was just an attack, and we lost a whole bunch of royals in kind of one fell swoop. And she was the one of the bloodline left around that was like, well, I guess she's in charge now because she has to be by law. Congratulations, Queenie. Oomph, or princess, you're Queenie now. So yeah, I think divine mandate.
Basically, and I don't think she was groomed nearly as heavily as other people in her family. She was never expected to rise this high in her station.
Do you think that because of her naivety that was done on purpose?
I definitely suspect so.
Have you ever tried? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say it does make her an obvious soft target, so I would definitely believe if somebody told me that somebody had planned that, I would go, that makes sense.
Have you ever attempted to correct in your own ways some of the decisions she made from kindness?
No. Once she issues an order, I will follow it through to the letter.
Zealotry.
Patriotism.
Sure, we'll call it
Yes,
that.
if you wrap a flag around it, it's just fine.
Yeah. As long as we're saluting, we're not crazy people. It's fine. It's fine. I love my country. I don't see what the problem is with that.
Social commentary.
Just doing what the Queen asks of anyone.
Have you ever been a recipient of her kindness?
Oh yeah, many times.
certainly for times just for doing my job, like protecting her from dangers. And sometimes for like things that I don't even realize it's like I'm trying to think like minor things I may have done, just like like stuff on the level of like opening the door for her. She's like, oh, thank you so very much. It's just like, no, Your Highness, go through. It's fine. It's literally my job. Go. But
Do the thing.
yeah, like I think I've received like gifts and bonuses far beyond what I would have expected for my for just performing my duties. I probably have a couple of ceremonial swords just sitting in the back of a closet somewhere. It's just like, whatever, it's fine. They're lovely. I don't need them.
Do people resent you for that?
They do, but they keep quiet about it because I'm really scary. Because between my station and my capabilities, like they leave me alone about it, but they are absolutely talking about me behind my back about it, 100%.
Has someone tried to remove you from her vicinity?
Unsuccessfully. He's dead now. She never found out about it.
Interesting.
Have you purposefully taken advantage of this kindness?
Once. Only once.
Was it worth it?
For a while. For a little while. I think I got a relative out of trouble once. And then he stabbed me in the back 2 months later.
Is that
Since then,
is that relative in this retinue?
Oh, it's a good question.
I volunteer.
Oh.
100% yes. Absolutely. Totally Shogun.
That would explain the poor housing in the town that Shogun owns.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Any more questions? Okay, I think then Tarstan, draw a card.
The Queen knows something about you that no one else does. What is it? She knows why I came.
Does she care?
Yes.
Has she used it against you?
That's about it.
Literally what I was going to ask.
Not as of yet.
But like she's got it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you suspect that she resents you for it?
Say that again?
Do you suspect that she resents you for it?
No.
Tracks.
Would the retinue turn on you if they learned of it?
Likely.
Is anyone in the retinue part of why you're here?
Yes.
A lot of ways that could go.
Such a powder keg. Holy cow.
Love it.
Kingdom is held together by strings.
We're the best she could find, too. Like, that's the
Actually,
wild
no.
part.
I mean, specifically, Michi and Fox are holding this country together.
The rest are
Two of you are a wall against the rest of us terrible monsters.
I mean, Nerdy's not too bad.
Well,
Yeah.
true.
Wild isn't horrible. I mean,
No, Wild,
Yeah,
no,
Wild
Wild's
is a good
great
reason,
and
really.
justified.
I still have
Right,
another
two of
card
us
to
are
draw.
gonna
So,
tell
Yeah.
oh, does the do you treat the queen differently because of what she knows?
no.
What about the other way around? Does she treat you differently? than everybody else in the retinue as a result.
Not enough to be noticeable.
Does she prevent you from completing it?
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, Shogun.
Oh my.
First, the
Throw some
compliment
trauma at it.
hurt.
Start on some trauma.
A little bit of love and hate relationship there.
Did you read the card? I totally missed it.
Sorry. When was the last time the queen hurt you? I can't think of the correct context to put that into.
You can always pass it to the next person.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
that would be really easy for a while to answer. I'm sure.
Possibly.
Actually, so I guess a question about this card, is this supposed to be a reoccurring thing? When it says last time, it feels like a reoccurring thing, or it would just be a thing.
I feel
Just
like
a
that's
thing.
Thing. Okay, then
How do you want to?
I
Describe this.
was very angered because because she did not listen to me when I tried to have her general retired. I tried to have Fox retired, and she didn't listen.
Why do you think that is?
She's too trusting. Like, she's like, this person is a trustworthy person, is just like stuck to Fox, and there's kind of no undoing that.
Probably. For
Why
good
did you
reason.
think it would work?
I had set up several indicators to incompetence.
Thanks.
Was your request a selfish one, or for the
Absolutely. I had a replacement lined up.
Okay.
One of my people.
Okay,
My
I was gonna say,
brother, actually.
I was gonna ask, what's your beef with me? What did I do to piss you off so much?
You're not in the house. Or not enough anyway. Like, we are to essentially replace the army. And I have been systematically going basically top down through the ranks, getting rid of people who are not part of the house and replacing them with the house.
You mentioned it was your brother. Is your brother in the retinue?
No, because I couldn't get him. I couldn't get him in. I tried, but I couldn't.
Were you behind the attempt to harm or assassinate Fox then?
It was certainly for injury, not for death.
That's probably why he died.
Oh.
No, yeah, exactly. So the person that Fox killed
Yeah.
was not actually trying to get to the queen. That looks like it, but they were. Fox was the target that was supposed to do a like unhealable wound to like the leg or something that would just put them out.
Were you upset when you heard about the death of the royal family?
No. I had protected the queen because I wanted her to be next. I didn't exactly orchestrate the killings, but I made sure that she was still standing.
Did this rejection cause you to look at other options of getting your brother into the retinue?
Yes. There's always backup plans. Yes.
So, how did the queen hurt you then?
basically, I put a lot of effort into the proposal. I set up a lot of things, both to discredit Fox and also it was actually like a fancy dinner, invited her to the court, like big thing, and she walked out on me. Like was there, I proposed the proposal to have Fox retired, and she left before things were over.
Ow.
Was Fox there for that?
Oh no, absolutely. Fox was not in the same city at the time, if possible. Like I had arranged everything perfectly. It was like, no. So I had a relative of Fox's killed so that Fox would be at a funeral. Because I cannot have Fox there while I'm trying to convince the queen of something.
Darn tootin' you can't. Holy cow.
How much of the retinue knows of her rejection?
I don't know. That's up to the queen. I haven't been like kicked out of the retinue, so I expect not too many, but that's up to the queen of who she told, because everyone else who was present was mine.
Okay. Actually, was anyone in the retinue present?
I may have hired one or two of them to be there.
Do you plan on gaining a higher station after taking over the army position, if you will?
Nope. Kings and queens get assassinated.
Not wrong.
You still have it out for me then.
Yeah. I gotta figure out a different plan, because that didn't work. I need to figure something else out. Yeah.
Good.
Oof. Spicy.
Did you plan anyone on being in the retinue?
Yes, definitely.
Had
At least
you-
a few of them. Yeah.
Did you have to stop any rumors of the queen's rejection?
I made sure that everyone present was either the queen herself or people who were either part of the house or I had paid plenty of money to. So you can never be certain of everything, but fairly certain that everyone present is aligned with my interests.
So if I bailed you out of trouble, why did I do that then? Do I not? Yeah, go ahead.
I had made myself appear kind until the point to backstab. Like, you had no good reason to suspect that I would be unkind to you until the point where I completely flipped.
Okay.
Did someone vouch for you?
To the queen? Or what do you mean?
Fox.
Oh. Yes.
This is gonna explode like a nuke.
What? No, it's fine. We're all thoroughly well adjusted.
This isn't quite as... It's actually a lot bit different. This isn't quite medieval Jerry Springer like last time. It's just as interesting.
We're working
I
on it,
like
though.
what's going on right. This is a powder keg, though.
Yeah.
I love Realpolitik. It's...
Oh,
That's why Vampire is so good.
All right, Wild, I believe it's your turn.
Okay. What did you bring with you that endangers the queen? Oh my.
No gun.
The person who reports directly to me was my father's partner in the rebellion.
Is he in the retinue or is he out and about ready to be signaled?
He could be considered my squire, So he could be promoted into the retinue, but technically he is an underling, a peon, as far as everyone else can see.
How does he feel about being in this kind of proximity, removed however it may be, to the queen, given he was like second in a rebellion? Like, how's he dealing with that?
In his mind, the rebellion is ongoing, and this is just further plotting.
How stable do you think he is?
Not at all.
Okay, so he's the match. Got
Wait,
it.
then why did you bring it?
Yeah,
Because
why?
Oh,
Because
that's
I
a great
resent
question.
The queen.
Because the
your-
queen?
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Okay.
Does the queen know?
No, she thought my father was the lone instigator.
Okay.
Does anyone else in the retinue know?
Only if he has confided in anyone else. Of who he has not told me he has. If he has.
Do you think that? I mean, you're sort of a guard, right? You are.
Yes.
So is he armed as well?
Mostly with training weapons so as to not look suspicious. But the time when he is most armed is when he is carrying anything I need to me.
Right. He has access to your stuff.
Right.
Were there only the two of them, your father and this partner, that were leaders of the rebellion?
See, my father and his partner both reported to the partner's aunt, who was the actual leader of the rebellion.
Is the aunt still alive?
Yes.
Is the aunt close to the queen?
It's possible.
How dangerous is this person?
Possible bloodlines to the queen.
Oh.
Do you suspect there's a connection between the rebellion and the assassination of the royals?
I do not know about the aunt.
Oh.
Okay.
Any more questions on this one? Alright, Capjack.
Ooh.
What brings
If anyone would know.
the
The one who deals it.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. The queen never deals in cruelty personally. It is meted out through agents. But what brings it out is, I guess the best way to say it is failure to bend the knee when it's called for. So kindness and humility and things like that, that's what gets on the queen's good side. But the moment you show backbone, that's when she gets angry. And it's a very quiet kind of fury. A deadly one.
So did the queen have you retaliate against Shogun for his proposal that she retire her general?
It's been discussed.
Is retaliation done in public or private?
Depends on the message.
Would the generals and the people most loyal to her know about these responses?
There are a very select few that carry out the queen's personal judgment.
How
Yes.
cruel? Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
how cruel is cruel with the queen? Like, to what degree is her cruelty?
The queen is a queen of polarities. So you've seen the greatness of her kindness. So too the pendulum swings the other way.
Is there anyone else in the retinue that also helps provide these judgments?
Yes. Yes.
Being who you are, have you ever been, by any manner of encouragement, dissuaded from your mission? You know, be that
Everything's negotiable.
physical. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
When was the last time the queen showed you real kindness?
Yesterday.
Oh, thanks for the mail. You didn't read.
Time.
I'm sure you didn't go looking through any of it all. That's great.
Not all.
I think the last time the queen showed me real kindness, she gave me a chance to win her over.
Did you succeed?
No.
How did you try to win the queen over? Like, what did that look like?
I think I think it was over the top. I think I went over the top. So like think like hiring like lots of entertainers, jugglers, the best chefs. I went way over the top.
Did it fail by any fault of your own?
Yes.
What did you do to make it fail?
That is only known by the Queen, and anybody else who dares speak of it might be dead.
More bodies.
Did you get the sense that the queen showed this kindness out of pity?
I wouldn't have, but there's a chance it was.
Oh.
Do you hate the queen?
if I hated the queen, I wouldn't be here. Nobody knows if I hate the queen.
Aside, obviously, from the queen's affections, what did that cost you to make that grand gesture?
I think it cost me a lot. Other than being in the retinue, I think it cost me most of my station with my family.
Would you do it again if you had the chance?
Absolutely. All right, Michi.
Oh boy.
Hey, I've been looking at you like you're plotting something evil over there.
Oh.
Always plotting evil.
No.
Oh, dear. First a rumor, now this.
Rumor has it.
You are considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception? The queen is constantly nitpicking things about my appearance. My seams are not ironed straight enough. There's a loose thread hanging there. My hair is slightly out of place. And while I'm pretty sure she's doing it because she wants to keep order in her court, you continually get that and you kind of start questioning.
Do you think she might be jealous of your beauty?
I think if the queen were jealous of my beauty, she would have taken care of me earlier.
How do you respond when she makes these sorts of little comments and notices these little things about you?
Well, of course I go fix them immediately.
What would you give to have a leader in place that didn't do that?
I think, given the current options of leadership, I would not want a leader that didn't do that.
Have you ever stood up to the queen when she's done it?
Oh, hell no.
Why not?
I know what happens when that happens.
So have you witnessed what happens to those who fall under the queen's displeasure?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever assisted with it?
I do what my queen commands.
Do you wish the queen showed more recognition of your beauty?
No, because ultimately my beauty is not what matters to my position.
Did you expect the regicide and the killing of the old nobles?
Perhaps.
Drop another match on there.
A little more
This
gunpowder.
gasoline just won't light.
Royal family for a long time.
Say again?
Have you been with the royal family for a long time?
Yes, I grew up. I'm a little older than the queen, and I grew up as first an older playmate and then trained to be her secretary.
How close are you to the queen then?
She confides in me a lot of things she would not confide to others.
Including me?
Yes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Are you in love with the queen?
No. I see her more as a sister.
Are you related to the queen?
Not that I am aware of.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
You were the playmate of the queen. Does the queen have any other living siblings that you interacted with?
No other living siblings, no.
Did the queen show sudden mood swings when she was little, going from kind to cruel?
No, she always had her reasons for getting moody.
How did the queen change after she ascended to the throne then? How is she different than from when she was young?
A lot more stressed. She's a lot more formal. And she may be a bit more heavy-handed on both the coolness and the kindness side.
Are you more distant now?
No.
So she was nitpicking you even as children.
Oh, yes.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Woofa.
She expects perfection.
In that case, have you ever thought the queen entitled?
I have thought of her as entitled before she ascended to the throne, but I feel like having to take the throne and have that power that she never expected to have has changed her perspective some.
Do you think the queen is a good queen?
I think she's on the way to being a good queen.
Has she ever taken her cruelty out on you, whether it be in the past or present? Besides the nitpicking.
Not on me directly.
Given your beauty, has the queen ever intercepted any suitors that might pull you away from court? And if so, what'd she do?
I'm not aware that she has done that. But I also know that she doesn't tell me everything.
Do you have many suitors?
I have a few.
are any of them in the retinue?
That was my follow-up.
Perhaps.
Do you have anyone in the retinue that you want to be a suitor?
I am not particularly looking for suitors right now. I have other goals and interests in mind. And any suitors I do take are in pursuit of those goals.
Are those goals at odds with the queen? The queen?
No.
Okay, Fox.
All right, let's draw a card and make it worse.
What else can we add to that?
There it is.
How does the queen remind you of her status while on the journey? Remind me specifically of her status. I feel like that means that we've gotten into a few arguments in a way that the captain of her guard can only, with the queen, someone who would dare take such a tone, insofar as I can take a tone with her. I think that there's been, for example, honestly, I think the bandit situation was one I would have dealt with much more swiftly and without her She wouldn't have gone anywhere near them if I had anything to say about that. And that was strongly against my wishes. And I definitely had words with her afterwards, but she, did a little like, hey, know your place. Get back over there on that horse and do not speak to me. And it's like, as you wish, Your Majesty. But then there's been other times we've butted heads. I think there are routes along rivers we've crossed that I've thought were extremely risky. And she was like, no, we're going to do it my way. Even if she possibly agreed, just to make the point that she was in charge, we went the other direction, kind of against my wishes.
Why did the queen deal with the bandits alone?
I think she felt like anybody else would make the situation too volatile. And if she went alone, then obviously they would, trust her, and she could trust that they would be good people about it, that they would be good sports about the whole situation. So she's like, no, I'll go alone. And that way everything will be de-escalated rather than escalated.
Those other routes that she's guided the retinue through, where do you think she got that idea?
I think honestly she just got annoyed that I was trying to tell her how to do her own job. Even though I'm in a way trying to do my own job. I think it was, she doesn't tend to do a lot of traveling. And this is a lot of freedom and decision-making in a weird sort of way for her. Usually these sorts of things are dealt with by other people, and this is very important. So I think she's feeling, I think people have a view of her as kind of a weak queen. And she's slowly coming around to realizing that, like, okay, I need to start putting my foot down on this stuff so that people see me as a decision maker. And so it was kind of her own insecurity, I guess, is the answer to that question.
Has she ever pushed back on you about security before now?
No, I think having basically your entire family assassinated made her very cautious in that regard, and she was willing to kind of listen to the experts for years and years and years and years. And the older she gets, the more she is kind of starting to push at the boundaries of that. Indeed, like this is the biggest, riskiest thing she's done, probably as queen. She doesn't tend to leave the castle, I don't think.
Does it strike you as odd that she is doing all of this suddenly?
It's uncharacteristic of her, for sure. But I also don't think she's the smartest queen we've ever had. So it's both unexpected and completely, it's out of character, but not unexpected.
Has she done risky things after talking privately with someone in the retinue?
Well, I mean, there was the bandit thing for sure. So, yeah. I feel like someone convinced her, like maybe we came across like a waterfall or like a spring or something, like a naturally occurring hot spring. And she was like, oh, I've heard of these. These seem cool. Let's stop here for the day. And I think someone in the retinue definitely convinced her that it would be a good idea to kind of linger for a while and enjoy the warm water. To which I protested very strongly and was very, very firmly quashed for doing so.
Do you secretly follow the queen when she goes off on her own?
Sometimes, if I think I could get away with it, but not always. Sometimes she gets away from me.
Have you ever been caught following her and she doesn't want to be followed?
I am very good at my job.
Did you follow her to the bandits?
No. It's something I will regret the rest of my life.
Do you suspect that someone has poisoned her against you? To distrust you?
I mean, I think you have. Definitely.
You don't know that.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay. I might have. Well, so that's the thing is I helped you out, but then like later you stabbed me in the back in some capacity. So like I think
Yeah.
we have a very like cold relationship in that regard. I don't think you're
Yeah.
a very trustworthy person, but
But
I
do
think
you feel like her distrust of your judgments is kind of some outside influence causing her to all of a sudden think that maybe you're not fit to give these suggestions?
yeah, I think so. I feel like it's unusual that she came to these conclusions. It seems weird that she would do so on her own. But like I said, I'm not surprised that once she got onto that line of thinking, that she was going to go follow it down to its completely insane and utterly stupid end. Ugh.
You know,
But somebody
going
put the bug in her ear. Sorry.
Does she perhaps seem like a fundamentally different person ever since leaving the castle?
There's a recklessness I'm not used to seeing in her. Or at least I view it as a recklessness. Other people might see it as like a joyousness of spirit or a freedom, perhaps. But I think she's being very careless. I think she's taking a lot of risks, and I think she is jeopardizing the mission more often than she's helping it, frankly.
Okay, Tarstan, your turn.
What is something you would do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey? Huh. She knows what I'm capable of and what I can do because of my training.
Would you say that that's more physical or political?
Both.
What's preventing you from using it?
It's not time yet.
When will it be time?
When it is time.
When will then be now?
Tomorrow is a mystery.
Were you sent to use these powers against the Queen? Or these abilities?
Yes.
If you move on the Queen, who in the retinue could stop you?
2.
Do you want to use your powers or abilities against the queen?
Yes and no.
What would it cost you to do so?
Yeah, that one.
Sorry, what was that?
What would it cost you to do so?
Nothing.
What would it take to get you to use your powers for the queen?
For the Queen?
Mm-hmm.
Compelling evidence more than what she has currently.
How long have you been planning for this opportunity?
A second before I answer that, Cap and Michi just did that little head nod at the same time. That was fantastic. Yeah. As for the question, a while.
Have you worked with anybody in the retinue to with it for this plan?
No.
Okay, Shogun.
Why are some of the others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen?
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, I imagine that's pretty obvious. Simply, I am a publicly not fully, but semi-independent force. I have my own money, my own armies, my own land, and she has to listen to me at least a little bit. I am a force that she has to keep in mind at all times. And yeah, I get to a lot of people who would rather I don't talk to her, or who would rather talk to her when I'm doing so, kind of don't get a say. I get to, as opposed to most others, I get to just walk in and say, "Hi, we're gonna sit down and chat with the queen," more often than most. I don't have to schedule 6 months in advance to be able to sit down and have half an hour talk with the queen. I can just show up, cancel someone else's appointment, and talk with her.
Do you think she fears you because of this?
I hope not. I don't think so. I try to make it as jovial as possible.
Has this jealousy endangered the mission at all? And if so, how?
I don't care. But
Fair.
Quite possibly it has, because there have been moments where someone is talking with the queen, be it Fox or Michi, or someone is speaking with the queen about, hey, this is what we got to do. We got to plan this out. And I'll just show up and I'm like, hey, I want to talk about like art or something for an hour. Just interrupts an important meeting to just speak about that, or say, hey, I hear there's some hot springs ahead. Maybe we should like stop there.
It was you.
What?
Yes, most definitely it has interfered.
Do you find that you have the queen's ear more lately than you ever had before?
Yes, and that is by intent.
Do you feel like the queen actually cares about your opinion?
I think that she's smart enough to know, like, that she can't just entirely ignore me. But yeah, I do feel like sometimes she does just interact with me because I am important and not because she actually cares. I'm certain that many of my interests, such as art and whatnot, I speak of it and she's just like, oh, yes, nod, but doesn't actually care.
Have these sort of interruptions, like have they boiled over into like a like fight with anyone else in the retinue, be that with words or with steel? Like has it reached that kind of a point for anyone?
There have been a couple minor incidents, but because she and I are both well protected individuals, it's kind of like kind of in our periphery happening, where we both show up and Fox and Capjack and while they're not going to let some rabble rousers get anywhere near the queen, and my personal guard are not going to let anyone get near me, so it's happening outside or something. But yes, there have been altercations.
Being so new and coming along on this trip, which are from trusted individuals, do you have a reason and or a thought as to why I'm here since I'm so new?
It's each person is categorized into what they can do and how they can affect myself or the queen. And whether it be right or wrong, it's almost purely just foreign person, likely an assassin, and it's just kind of left at that. Even if that's a massive oversimplification, it's just probably a foreign assassin, and that's about it. I have people watching you, as I have people watching everyone.
What a shock there.
Yes.
Do you feel that anyone in the retinue is a threat to your personal safety then?
Absolutely.
Have they disappeared from sight?
The ones I believe to be a threat?
Yes. From time to time, not permanently.
Not the ones I'm worried about mostly. The ones I'm worried about are the ones that are kind of always there.
I don't like what you're insinuating. I feel attacked.
Personally?
Well, you have been attacked by Shogun.
Sure. Actually, to be fair.
But no, I to me, physical harm and political harm are the same thing. If I were to be deposed as an important member of the court, it would be the same as me being killed. So I hold the sway that Michi or Fox hold over the queen to be equally or more dangerous than any physical might they would have.
Because of your investment in the queen, are you suspicious of anybody in the retinue of being a threat to the queen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely concerned about several individuals in the retinue being a threat to the queen, and that is a thing I care about.
Have you warned the queen about anybody in the retinue?
Absolutely.
How did she take that?
A lot of kind of non-committal, like, yeah, I'll look into that sort of comments, sort of, oh, I'm sure it's not that bad sort of things. Which is reasonable since some of the threats that I pointed out to her are legitimate and some of them are not.
Kind of like a squire that's out of nowhere.
Say, are you gaslighting the queen?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you told anybody that you trust in the retinue about the people you're suspicious of?
Yes, I have. I have individuals that under my pay who are in the retinue, and I've informed them.
Ow.
All right, wild.
Yes, that was.
Yes, and yes.
Yes, and yes.
Let's pour some more powder and lighter fluid on this.
It's gonna be fine, guys. The queen's gonna be fine.
It's fine.
She's
Totally
fine.
fine.
Ooh.
What promise did the queen make to you before this journey? Do you think she'll keep it?
Ooh.
That's a perfect question for you.
Right?
Wonderful. Although I would have loved to have it.
It's a goodie.
She promised
To stop messing with the webcam.
she promised complete exoneration of my family as long as I remain completely loyal. And I do think she will keep it.
Do you worry that your squire jeopardizes that?
I feel that him being my squire is the best way for me to be loyal. For if he tries anything, I can be the quickest to stop it.
One of the quickest, anyway.
I mean, I don't like to brag or nothing, but that's a good point. One of the quickest.
Do you think you brought him on purpose for that situation?
Yes, I feel as long as he is directly under me, I limit his capabilities.
Let me rephrase.
Okay.
Did you bring him along to cause that situation so you can show your loyalty?
I would prefer no drama.
What does your family stand to gain by being exonerated?
Security and the possibility that my status can be reflected on the future generations.
Why do you think she would do that for you?
She believes that, well, my father's complaint might have been valid, it needed to be quashed, and that, if anything, I could be a possible bridge between the rest of the peasants, showing that there is a way.
Did this come suddenly during this trip, or has this been in the works for a while?
It is the reason I joined the guard.
How does the queen view the peasantry?
She has trouble understanding them. She sees their issues as valid, but at the same time doesn't understand why they don't work harder.
How does she feel about cats?
No, see, now I gotta know. How does the queen feel about cats?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, she's a monster. She hates cats.
Okay.
Nope, off with her head. Nope. I resign.
Yep, totally.
Does this promise, like if she upholds it in your eyes, does that kind of will that even the field for you? Will she be absolved in your mind, in your head, of her crimes against your family?
As it nothing will bring back my father, but at the very least, I can feel like I made the right decision. It's like I can never really truly forgive her.
But that 50-50 you were talking about would kind of be dealt with?
I wouldn't do anything to sorry, I lost my words. I wouldn't do anything to put in jeopardy the security of my family. More so than it already is.
Who else in your family cares about being exonerated?
I would say my mother and my sister.
And
Right.
the rest of Do you have any like other family then that doesn't,
Um,
or are they it?
they just find it hard to. It's like without this possible way, they could have been excommunicated from everything, forced to leave without being a part of any kingdom per se.
Did your father and his partner start the rebellion before because of the old royalty, or because they thought the new queen was too young and naive?
The rebellion was from the old royalty, and the queen is the one who survived that rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Was your father involved in the assassination of the old royals then?
I would say yes.
Personally?
At
Or just under his command?
the very least, under his command.
Okay.
Is anyone in the retinue aware of that?
I believe everybody. She made this promise publicly.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh. Okay.
Except for the person who doesn't recognize you.
Interesting.
I mean, she may not have directly said that who I was related to, but she was definitely stating that my family was under her protection as long as I remained loyal.
Interesting.
So everyone who knew me knew what she was talking about.
Okay, Jack.
All right. Let's see what we get here.
Trouble.
Every time with this card.
I am 12 and what is this?
Jack, what you been doing?
What Lisa's the queen on this journey.
Bringing people's heads.
Writing some letters.
I've been doing what I've been doing on this journey. Damn it. Yeah. I've been acting as a confidant to the queen, which is a new role for me. And there may be a letter or two involved.
What do you two talk about? What is she confiding in you?
Maybe how she paints.
We talk about how she's nervous. This isn't going to work.
Why do you think you were given this position? Do you think anyone helped you get there?
Yes. As for why, the queen has known me a long time.
Does the queen ever share her opinions on the others in the retinue with you?
Yes.
Is there anybody the queen worries may be a threat to her in the retinue?
Yes.
Have you tried to convince her otherwise?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you agree?
No, I have not tried to convince her otherwise.
Does she trust you because she knows you, or does she trust you because she pays you?
Because she knows me.
Does she ever ask you for directions on our journey?
I knew that was going to come up.
It's a simple question.
Yes.
So why are you leading her where you're leading her?
Because it's where she wants to go.
Do you like hot springs?
Indifferent.
I had to ask.
Objection, I failed to see the relevance.
Sustained.
Has the queen confided less in her other confidants since taking you as a confidant?
Yes.
Do you think Shogun resents you for this? Considering how often those two talk.
I don't think so, no.
Can you interrupt a meeting with her and Shogun?
Can I or have I?
Both.
Oh, well. Can I? I could. Have I? No. I would not.
Dun, dun, dun.
How is it that you're always getting past me to talk to the queen?
This is a recent development.
There also might be a letter.
I mean, is it something like she tells me to let you through, or do you like...
Yes.
Okay.
Has the queen ever expressed any feelings for anybody in the retinue, including yourself, to you?
No.
Has she told you what she's brought with her?
Yes.
How do you feel about what she's brought with her?
Concerned.
Do you think that she lies to you?
No. Not at all, in fact.
Do you know the true purpose of the journey?
I think so.
Is it what I suspect it is?
Suspected again?
It was I suspect it
down,
was for her to meet a suitor rather than peace negotiations.
Yes.
Is it a suitor from the one country we are at war at, or another?
Ooh.
And I will say that I want to say it was Teddy suspects it's a neutral third party.
Yes, I only suspect though. I don't.
But that's just what she suspects.
Yeah, that's how I'm trying to figure out how to answer that. There has been conflict, yes.
Do you personally think that she is right in trusting you?
Yes.
How much of a threat is the suitor to our kingdom?
Immense. Well, From whose point of view?
The people of our kingdom. Like, how much of a threat is it to their daily lives, their situation, their status, is there a threat of war kind of thing?
It's not a threat to the people.
Okay.
How much of a boon are they
To the people?
to the kingdom? What would they bring to the table, if you will?
I think they would bring stability.
Okay, any more questions?
The
Okay.
witness may step down.
Chaff in there.
Okay, so before I draw a card, we're gonna go to a quick little break. Though this is a game that the time kind of goes really fast, but we're gonna take a quick little break. Everybody, run off and just tell Throck you love him, because he did make sure we had an extra overlay because Capjack almost wasn't here and he had
Sorry.
one all ready to go for that. So we will be right back. and you're live. Hello. We are back to see who drops the match into the powder keg.
Jack, apparently.
I stabbed the queen. It's twist.
Fox, how dare you?
I slipped. It was a knife thing, but as long as she's dead, I'll just be making this curtain.
I see what you did there. So, thank you, Captain J. Cross, for the 100 bits. So this round, when you draw your card, each player will reveal a secret. So it doesn't have to be... It can be, but it doesn't have to be something relating to the question. So you can answer the question and reveal a secret separately. But we will do that to cause a little chaos.
Here comes the match.
So... This is perfect.
Matches be flying.
And thus it begins.
So, sometimes you have to start anew. And when things don't go as you plan, you just need a new place to be. I was offered a chance for a new life after my plans didn't work out, and my dark secret is not about the ambush, but instead, my secret is that not only am I in love with the queen, but I'm currently mad because she doesn't appreciate my gestures. Like, maybe perhaps starting a fire so somebody'd be queen.
Whoa.
Oh, buddy. Oh,
That
geez.
escalated quickly.
Spicy.
Background laughter was
Who
good
made
timing.
this off?
Yep.
Who made this offer?
I think it's a foreign power. I don't think I know who it is. I've only talked to a middleman, but I think it has to do with a foreign power.
Is that middleman in the retinue?
No.
Does the queen suspect anything?
I don't know.
How did the ambush go awry? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, as it like, my character doesn't know, So the ambush go awry. Probably. How did it go awry? Ooh, that's
Oh, wait. Was your ambush the bandits?
It all cycles together.
As if to say, was your ambush crap?
Wait, no, my ambush was the bandits.
Yeah,
yeah,
Shogun's ambush was the bandits.
That's right. That's right.
Sorry.
There's been a lot to
A
keep
little
track.
time.
I think my ambush was supposed to be at the hot springs. But
The extremely hot springs.
Spicy springs.
But I think I trusted the wrong person, and they just weren't there. They took my money and ran, rather than following through.
How many people got killed then? Did anybody?
Nobody got killed.
They just didn't even show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Were the people you hired part of the peasant rebellion?
Yes, because I have contacts within the peasant rebellion.
So since the ambush didn't go off, like what's your next move? Like what are you up to now?
I wouldn't be up to anything.
Seems legit. Wowzers.
Any more questions?
More secrets.
Michi.
So does everybody do the secret thing?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Oh God. I was hoping to just be the one. Oh.
Oh.
I think I asked this earlier.
Oh,
Ah.
good.
The queen is so mean to you. Oh my gosh.
I think I asked this
imagine
exact
why.
question earlier.
It's just like I'd be punished once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever? So when the queen punished me, she didn't take it on me directly. Because she knows that I would just quietly accept the punishment and it wouldn't have any impact. So instead, she had my younger brother taken into indentured servitude.
Ooh.
And what stuck with me about that is just how cruel she can really be.
Do you
Don't get a
give
secret.
her for that?
So that's part of the secret.
Okay.
The secret is that no, I don't forgive her for that. And that I am perhaps not as loyal as she thinks I am.
What the heck did you do to her? This kind of a punishment that your brother had to. Yeah.
Wore the same clothes.
Hmm.
Things would change immediately.
I broke court protocol by wearing a brooch that she had wanted to wear.
Wow, that's oh.
Yikes!
That's petty as shit.
Oh.
Holy moly.
This queen.
Because you can't forgive her, have you worked with outside forces? Or have you thought about it?
I have, yes.
When was the last time you saw your brother?
The night before they took him away.
How long has that been?
Jesus.
It's been about 2 years.
Do you know exactly where your brother is?
Oh, yes.
Where's your brother?
He is currently serving to clean the tailor's quarters. So not a terrible position, but
Like in the palace?
yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever expressed your frustration with the queen to anybody in the retinue?
No.
Do you fear talking back to the queen for further punishment?
Not exactly fear, but it is definitely a heavy consideration when considering talking back to her.
Have you ever retaliated for this?
In small ways. Like forgetting to hand her some of her mail before someone else got hold of it.
Oh.
Touche. Has she threatened more punishment if you didn't do something? Or seemed resistant against something?
She has not, but only because I have not refused or resisted an order since.
Does she still hold the fate of your brother over your head? As like a threat?
No.
Does she even remember he exists?
Probably not.
Good boy.
He's a jerk.
A naive little jerk. Boy.
All right, Fox.
I'm sure it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be like
This will be fine.
the queen gave you candy. It was rad. You were summoned to a private meeting once. Why did you feel disappointed afterward?
It's fine. Kittens and rainbows.
It was the butterscotch candies and the little strawberry candies.
They- Stupid butterscotch. I hate the way they taste. They get stuck in my teeth. I just can't throw them in the garbage can. They got the royal seal on them. That's a federal offense. You'll get beheaded. Now,
Oh,
private meeting with the
Too
queen.
soon.
It's all chewy candy, but nothing to drink.
Ooh.
Wow.
And having popcorn after that.
Oh.
Okay. So I think actually I need to give my secret first. Yeah. So something I've never told anyone. Because of his unbelievable beauty, I am actually infatuated with Michi. And as a result of that, in a moment of, let's call it weakness, I went to the queen because she had kind of put two and two together because, you know, the three of us had been in proximity often enough that she's seen me kind of eyeing him, and it's just like, okay, there's something going on here, right? And I confessed, and have confessed only to the queen. Yes. And she made it very clear that under no circumstances was I to pursue this.
Bitch.
And I put it to bed.
No, you didn't.
Well,
Sorry.
you know what I mean, Jack.
Oh. Did you obey the queen?
Stop reading my mind, Jack.
That's a very good question. I obeyed the queen insofar as I did not go to him and ask him, you okay?
I see the loophole there. Okay.
But that doesn't mean that my feelings have gone anywhere.
Have you ever considered
Bill Coffey.
attempting to leave
Oh, well.
the country with Michi?
Ooh, what do you think this trip's about? No, oh wow,
Big
that's a
gay
good question.
getaway.
If I could be sure he was interested. No, you know what? Not even then, actually. My position is too important in the court. My competence is too needed at the queen's side. And I would sooner suffer a broken heart and die alone and cold and unloved than betray my kingdom.
Have you tried to drop hints to Michi before this talk? Who now
Not
has
before.
a cat?
Not before. After. Yeah.
Nice.
Because if he approaches me, well, then what did I do? I didn't do anything.
Do you resent the queen for this?
Yeah, but I'm used to resenting her for things.
Mood.
Is it is it even worse since the queen has been so distant with you on this trip?
It wasn't so bad until that meeting. But afterwards, because before there was a question and now there's a certainty. And with that certainty and the resentment that follows it, yeah, it's a lot worse for me, I think.
Was the meeting on the trip or before the trip?
On it. After the hot
Ooh.
springs. She picked up on something there. Something happened. Again, I was eyeing Michi or doing something. Just like, hang on. She's not usually so inattentive to me. Hey. You, my tent.
Down, Foxy, down.
You know, a girl has needs, okay? It's been a long trip.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Neither am I, apparently.
Oh.
I mean,
Point to Queen. Do you think Michi has hinted towards you about any affection in any way?
If he has, I haven't picked up on it.
Okay.
I'm dumb as a post, I'm afraid, in that regard. Although in fiction, we've definitely seen that he said he wasn't actively looking for a suitor right now, so. And I suspect I probably.
Because having one, right?
Sorry, what?
Because of having one, right?
having a few.
So yeah, so. No, if it's in any way reciprocal or if he's in any way expressed interest, I haven't picked up on it. Promise not to stab the queen over this, you guys. Don't worry about it.
That's too bad.
Not worried about you.
Wow.
Thank you. I think. I'm so trustworthy.
Tarstan.
Secrets.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, this is not.
What does the card say? Do tell. Do what the card
The queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Why?
Wow. Because he's over in the corner with a cloak and a knife, just going.
What about that guy though?
So this actually will tie into the secret. She knows that I came from a tertiary country who wants the kingdom at war, and I got into her room one night and almost killed her, but I didn't.
Why didn't you?
Because I saw how she acted toward her subjects. And I wanted more proof. Was she worthy killing?
Do you feel like you're betraying your country by
No.
staying your hand?
There's still time to kill.
Hey.
And hey, if another country gets blamed for it, all the better.
Killed her to blame for it?
Is there a time limit on your mission?
Yes.
What happens if you don't succeed in time? To you personally, I mean.
I die. That's why I have nothing to lose.
Have you ever considered bailing on your mission and just running for it to some distant, faraway place where no one can find you?
No.
Have you considered truly being loyal to the queen?
That's why I'm waiting for more evidence of whether she's worthy of being killed or not, or to live or not.
What would you need to see? I should phrase that a little less ambiguously. What would you need to see to make you want to kill her?
Killing her is still in the timeline. It's letting her live. That is a different story.
Okay, well then I revise my question. Like, what would you need to see, like, definitively to allow her to continue to draw breath?
That she is capable of being a great queen, not just a good one.
Do you think I have a chance with Michi?
30%.
Ow! Ow!
Oh my.
She's too. He is too work driven. Plus, there are other suitors. I mean, really.
Dumb question. My bad.
That card could not have been more perfect.
Shogun.
I was thinking getting stabbed this time. What?
Why do you think the queen trusts you enough to bring you on this journey?
Oh, God.
This is a very good game, you guys.
And that one, the answer for that is the same as the secret, which is I am the suitor.
Bum, bum, bum. Reveal!
I am sort of a neutral party because my section of the country is big enough that we could secede if we wanted to. And that is on the table if she refuses me.
Have you been backing the peasant rebellion?
Yes.
So you sent the letters.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, they are legit and from you. Like both of
Yes.
those things are true. Okay, good.
Are you blackmailing the queen?
It's an ultimatum. It's an ultimatum of if she does not agree to it, then my section of the country, which is sizable, will secede. And she will lose most of her army because most of her army is me,
Why go
which
to all the
I have conveniently set up. And so
Strange. I wonder why that was.
yeah, she will essentially guarantee the loss of the war.
So why go to all the trouble of taking like the retinue out of the palace to go somewhere else to do this?
I don't know. That's her.
Did that catch you off guard?
Yeah, I've got stuff prepared for a lot of scenarios, but I kind of left field.
What would you do if the queen rejects?
Then I will follow through. We will secede and at the very least acquire neutrality with the opposing force, if not join them.
If it weren't for your threats of succeeding, do you think the queen has interest in others?
I don't think so. Or who? Interest in who?
In just somebody else. Within the retinue.
Oh, other than myself?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that for her interest with me is purely keeping the country from falling apart. So her romantic interest is probably somewhere else because I'm almost certain it's not with me.
Do you think her romantic interest might be Michi?
I don't know. I don't know.
How would you feel if you found out the queen was thankful to you for everything you've been doing secretly?
that work? I mean, I don't know. It would make things easier. I'd be happy, I guess. Like, if she's not resentful towards me, that's nice. If we're going to be married, but it would be nice, I guess.
Working with Tarstan, or is that another faction?
No, he's concerning because I don't know who he is.
Okay.
What would you do if you found out that your army, if you will, has turned on you after things fell through?
I mean, I'd be without everything. It's my army is what I have.
Is your army comprised of recruited peasants?
Technically, my army is my family. They are predominantly part of my house. We are distant relatives, all of us. We do have levies of peasants that we pay some amount.
Queen marries you. What power does she retain?
Well, none for very long.
Okay.
You do go neutral. Besides the queen, are there other threats to your neutrality?
I mean, I'd hope not. I can't guarantee anything on kind of the global stage. I can't guarantee things, but I'm in a fairly secure position. I'm fairly certain I can guarantee neutrality from the enemy of this nation, so that I just stand aside, and our enemies, the enemies of the nation that we're currently in, will just wipe the queen out and her whole nation. If I just stand aside and just let them.
What happens to the retinue if you don't get the answer you want and we reach our destination?
Basically, I just take my guards and we leave. We go home. We just half of the guard of the retinue just walks away because I would be retracting all of my troops. Some of my troops are the guards of some of this retinue, like personal guards of different royalty and nobility across the nation are my guards, and they'll just leave.
What would happen if that wasn't possible and you were arrested?
I mean, that would be unfortunate, but it would start a war. We would secede and we would start a war, and then it would be a 2v1 against this country.
So you are not necessary.
I would imagine that I would be kept as a prisoner to be ransomed back to my house, but like militarily, no, I'm not a general. They don't need me for that. They're very competent soldiers on their own. But I'm essentially the royalty of my house if we were an independent nation.
Do you know about Wild's aunt?
I'm like aware of her existence, but I don't know where she's at or how active she is in her ability to attack the queen. I've been out of contact since our previous dealings.
I've lost the thread on his aunt. Who is she again?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's the aunt is related. It's my squire's aunt.
Yeah.
And she's the true instigator of the peasant rebellion.
Yes. Which I monetarily supported.
Yep. But more or less, no one knows who she is.
Yeah, don't know where she's at.
Right, wild.
Murky it up.
All right.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Queen ugly.
Big honking mole. Just this massive mole.
What makes her ugly in my eyes is the way she looks down on the peasants. It's like he sees her trying, but it's like her refusal to accept that they cannot do more than they already do.
Is that because of what happened to your father?
No.
Or is it from
simply
an
the fact
wife?
that because I was a peasant before this, and my secret will be during one drunken night, my squire told me that the queen was never in any danger during the rebellion, and we're actually heading towards his aunt's kingdom.
Oh boy.
Well,
Well,
okay then.
You said he was drunk. Does he remember telling you this?
I don't think so.
Were you surprised at how the queen treated the bandits, given your feelings about how she feels about the peasantry?
I wasn't there for the bandits, I don't believe.
Do you find this man to be trustworthy in his information?
I take everything he says with a grain of salt.
You told the queen anything about this?
No. I feel the queen has her reasons for going where she's going.
Have you told anyone else in the retinue?
Let's see.
Don't worry, we're all trustworthy.
Completely.
None of us have ulterior motives. What are you worried about?
No one here. The only person who would understand peasantry would be the person who killed my father. So no.
Is there anyone else in the retinue that you do like and trust?
The closest thing to liking I have would be to the queen herself.
Okay, Jack.
Let's see where this goes.
Right.
Oh.
Yes. 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 Yes.
well,
Huh. There's someone else in this retinue you love besides the queen. How and why are you keeping it a secret? So it's going to dovetail in with the secret. But I am secretly in love with Teddy. And the reason that I am keeping it secret is because I am a member of the Peasant Rebellion. And so is the Queen.
Oh.
Wait.
Wait. No. Okay, I need a graph. I need a flow chart.
She rebelling against herself? What?
What?
Why would she be part of the rebellion?
She was before becoming the Queen.
Oh.
No, I'm still too dumb. How? Wait, what?
So she was.
She helped incite the rebellion, which put her into power. It killed off everyone else, didn't it?
almost everyone else. There were royal survivors,
Plural.
plural.
Right. I don't understand anymore.
Twin
Who else
sisters.
survived? What is happening?
Oh, okay.
Does she know where that person is?
She is that person.
When did the swap occur?
Right before the trip.
Does anybody besides you know about this?
One person, yes.
Oh, I just got it.
You could do it,
Wild
folks.
knows.
Wildness. Ooh.
Because of a drunken slip up.
Oh no.
Do you think anyone else overheard that drunken slip up?
I hope not.
What?
Yeah.
What's stopping the current queen from just taking over and doing what she wants since she's now the queen?
She has to get that important cargo where it needs to go.
What interesting bits of information does this queen not know about this trip? Or just about like important things going on? Does this queen not know because she's not actually the original queen who's been around for years?
Knows nothing about art, for instance.
Smile and nod.
Let's see. Doesn't trust previous security arrangements. Hasn't been confiding as much because doesn't have the background.
Huh. Huh.
Do you think Michi has noticed the difference? Or knows about
Has
the twin?
most likely chance of noticing.
Did you help her learn the old queen's like mannerisms and all that to be able to take on this persona?
No, she already knew about it, at least to a degree.
Where is the old queen?
Is she in the box?
What's in the box?
The old queen just in a box.
Could this journey expand the queen's territory at the end?
It could, yes.
Yeah, I guess now we know why my assassination is, where my ambush failed.
What will you do if she dies?
Probably not be far behind.
Did you warn her of my affections for her sister?
I had no idea.
Did my father know he was going to die?
Yes.
Why am I so bad at my job?
Did you warn her of anyone else in the party? Did you suggest people?
That's
Fox. Fox was the most dangerous. Is the most dangerous person
that you knew of.
Yes.
I represent a clear and present danger.
You are good at your job.
That's the most dangerous thing. Yeah.
Any more questions? No.
Oh, got him, Mike. I'm just gonna like drop it over there real quick. No.
So,
I'm dumbfounded to ask any questions. Sorry.
who's ready
Oh
to light the fuse?
I will.
Oh no.
I'll do it.
It's about that time. The queen is under attack. Do you defend her? So here's what happens. For me, the drunken conversation that Capjack hopes nobody else heard, I caught just enough to know that the queen's not the queen. So I defend her. Letters burn, but the letters weren't for her. In my jealousy, I would have betrayed the queen, but since it's not her, I don't.
Interesting.
Meaty, do you defend the queen?
yes. Because I feel that I absolutely noticed the switch because I grew up with these twins. You do that and you kind of learn to tell the difference. I defend her because I feel that she is a better monarch than her sister. She's a little more cruel, perhaps. More outright cruel. But she also seems to care more for the peasants. And also, how am I going to yell at her later if I don't defend her?
Fox.
I have a question. So wait, is our real queen? No. Yeah. So we have a fake queen. Is our real queen? Is she dead? Then is that the assumption we're working under, or is she just missing?
Yeah, but you don't know.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jeez.
Out of character. Out of character, I'm pretty sure she's the package in the box.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't. She's got a sleeping potion. She's in a coma. I don't know. You can put people in boxes.
I don't
But yes.
think the queen's dead.
Okay.
I don't anyway.
So that's the assumption I was operating under too.
How many holes does the box have?
Enough? Question mark?
One big straw.
Nobody wondered why. It was just like, that's kind of weird, but all right, queen.
Moving and talking. It's weird.
It's a
Stuff a
mimic.
cheeseburger in there. It ain't no problem. It's fine. Christ. Wow. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any like reasonable way I could have found out, because honestly, either way, even if I knew.
I mean, did you open the box?
Yeah, maybe for security purposes. I've gotten maybe Wild's little friend wasn't the only one who got drunk that night, and maybe I got a little tired of being told what I can and cannot have, and yeah, I was like, I'm no more secrets from me. I'm gonna get some answers. What is this? Holy crap! It's a person. But I know how destabilizing this would be, and I can't afford to put the kingdom in jeopardy. So I think I close the lid and I defend the queen.
Karsten.
Wow. Wow.
For the motherland.
Well, considering my job was to come in, kill her, blame it on Shogun, who would blame it on the other country to keep them at war, which was my entire job because of his jealousy, and let them kick each other, we would just come in and take over. So I'm going to attack the queen. I have a job.
So now it's been implied, but not, I guess, confirmed that I have paid a few of the retinue off to help me. Could I actually know who those are? Cool. Would either of you tell me that the queen is not the queen?
No.
Yes, though.
Okay. So, I will defend this new queen. But the old queen is now dead. I would have her killed in the box.
If she isn't dead already.
If she isn't dead already, she is now dead. And I will defend this queen. As soon as we're married, then she can die.
We'll see about that.
You liar.
Good luck.
Well, that I don't particularly care. I'm not saying I'm gonna kill her. I'm just she's not allowed to die until we're married. Then go ahead, sure, whatever.
There was a question earlier I asked and said that you didn't want a higher position.
Yeah.
Higher.
I don't want higher positions. I want my really, I don't care about me having a higher position. If she has to die, whatever, but that's not my plan to kill her. My plan is for my son to have the higher position.
It's about the bloodline, not about personal status.
Yeah. Or daughter, whatever. But my bloodline to have the higher position. So I will defend this queen.
Wild. What do you do?
Right.
Wild card.
I am not willing to risk that the promise the queen made me is false. So I will protect the queen.
I think the person we're probably waiting for to answer this. What does Jack do?
So, well knowing who the queen is and seeing the end in sight, I am also going to defend the queen and hope that everyone else joins in that as well and put an end to the peasant rebellion by putting the peasant queen in power.
By defend the queen, I mean I'm gonna go be in my tent and I'm gonna tell someone else to do it.
Yeah.
You're not the fighter, you are the diplomat.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, the potential assassin appears to have died on somebody's blade.
Possibly more than one, you never know.
Possibly among them.
There's like a blade and a little knife in his eye. And
Oh, fuck. Nice to meet you here. How are you?
It's like a surprise party, but you turn on the lights and we're all just standing there with knives out, like looking for
Instead
queen.
of a pinata, you have an assassin.
An assassin.
Oh my.
So,
best
for the
part.
queen. It's an amazing game.
Was it this unanimous last time?
No.
No, but the best part about this ending is that we backstabbed the queen by defending the queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a man in the iron mask situation. Hey, look, everything
That
wins
was
out.
literally what I was thinking. When I started hearing some things, I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I was starting to
Um,
think along the same lines.
Yeah.
I just had developed too much into the character at that point.
Yeah, last time I think we had one assassin, but way more deaths.
Yes.
Really?
Because there was like a misspeaking, and I literally jumped on that blade.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Seppuku!
This game's
Um,
rad.
Oh, it's so
is.
fun.
It is.
I love the interweaving threads that everyone gets where it's like, oh yeah, I totally trust you. I totally really don't trust you, but I actually really do trust you.
I like how we can just turn on a dime.
I was completely planning on burning everything to the ground when it came to and then switcheroo, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
How did you all like that?
That was good.
That was great.
I was literally left speechless, Jack. How do you think? I didn't know what to do anymore.
I liked it because it really, really matters that a person is someone else, but for the scenario I was in, couldn't care less.
Which is weirdly where I found myself.
I was like, you know what? You look the same. Everyone else will say you're queen, so you know what? Whatever.
As long as we have a royal that people will listen to, the kingdom stays stable.
I like how much one drunken night changed it.
Oh yeah, like when you
Little
said it, I was just like, oh, I have an idea.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
the last time we played it was one hidden letter that changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Out of everyone here, I was expecting Cap or Shogun to completely turn around the story, which is what happened, really.
We both did.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh, this is such a fun game, though.
It is fun.
this is a great game.
Every time I play it so far, it's just been fantastic.
And I was just looking. Right now, this game is $8 on the Roll20 marketplace, and will be
Nice.
physically available in June.
Ooh.
And I think you can. Yeah, it's April now, so you can pre-order it if you really, really want
Do
to.
you have a link for like where the physical copies will be? Because I might do that.
That would be good to have.
Here's a link in chat that has all the details.
Cool. Because yeah, I could use that.
And for
Cap.
folks at home, it's going into the other chat.
Cap,
Yep.
in the in the Twitch, the top of your head is cut off.
What is it?
Oh yeah, it's a little bit top. Yeah.
You got shorter by a couple inches.
Strange.
All the more
Yeah,
room for them
let's
to
do that.
pile in
Well,
like vile machinations. Oh, this game is great. It's just a bunch of like crazed sharks smelling blood, like circling the queen.
mhm.
And let's not forget circling
it's
each
such
other
a
on top of
Oh yeah, and somehow
last
also
time too.
Say again?
Like it's such a different queen than before as well.
It's so. The reason I like Royal Politique is because it's a showing of where the good guys usually get screwed. Fox tried so hard to be like a decent person and ends up where everyone's like, okay, of everyone, if we have to kill someone, it's gonna be that person because they're the honest person. We can't have that.
I'm doing a great job, and unfortunately, that means like thwarting literally every one of your plans.
Yeah, you're trying to be a good person, help people, be honest, and all that, and it makes you everyone's enemy.
And at the end, it made you have to make a terrible, terrible choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it puts you up to the choice of either join us and be evil with us, and you'll survive, or be a good person and die.
Yeah.
But
I had
wouldn't
the-
necessarily be evil and join us, or it was for the good of the people.
I mean,
But
that's,
yes, but
That's
more
all
of a like
rational.
break your old morals
yeah.
of you have to part and join us in this world of conspiracies, or stay where you were and get left behind as we all backstab everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that's the thing. This queen was switched so long ago. At this point, it's like, oh god, I don't even know if I know this person in the box. Whoa.
I had the thought about a minute or two ago that I killed the original queen, and then this new fucking queen popped up out of nowhere, thanks to Cap, and just like, I know I killed her. I wouldn't kill her again.
I think it's crazy that I'm a secret pawn of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
The way I kind of figured is, I was in it with your father.
Mhm.
It was all part of the long-term plan.
So your father knew he was gonna die that was the plan. Like, some people are gonna have to die so that only this queen remains.
I
So
think the thing was,
I think.
he had to die so she could use me to say to the peasants, if you stay loyal to me, you can become like him. I will forgive you of anything. You know?
Well, because the part of the peasant rebellion was also pretense for assassinating most of the royals initially, right? So it's kind of, we need to manufacture a rebellion and then very quickly quiet it
Mhm.
so that we could use that chaos to reduce the royals to, well, 2. We thought only 1, and then flip them. This is wheels within wheels shit here. This is
I love it.
already
Oh,
planned.
Yeah.
so good.
What a mess.
And I think every single conspiracy, I was giving someone money to help it along somewhere.
At a certain point, like, just go to war. Like, what do you do? Go to war.
What's messy?
Kings and
Yeah.
queens get assassinated,
I guess
Mhm.
that's true.
as has been demonstrated.
And swapped.
Multiple times.
Exhibit A.
Assassinated,
A
shoved in
box.
boxes. What's in the front?
Oh wait, so Michi, so you would put it together that the queen wasn't the original queen, so no wonder she was trying to keep me away from you. Because like, no, I don't need you finding out what's going on with me. Because then you'll figure it out, you dumb idiot. Well,
And now you'd be free to actually pursue Michi.
true, but he's got so much on his plate. He doesn't care.
There's always room for dessert.
Michi's such a yeah.
Wow.
Right off into the sunset as Michi.
That is my smooth moment for the year. Cool.
Oh man.
Okay, I think it's time for us to sign out. So we'll just kind of go in somewhat of the order. Michi, where can we find you?
Hi, I'm Michi at Michisaurus on the Twitter. You can find me here every first and third Tuesday running our Eclipse Phase game. No single thing abides. You can also find me here every other Thursday playing Pokemon, which is
Nothing
definitely a
wrong
game.
It's a fun time for the whole family.
Until they
Yeah,
die.
in the same way that like Saw is a fun time for the whole family.
Oh,
We're definitely the bad guys, except for Clementine, who just,
Clementine is wonderful.
doesn't know yet.
Yet.
he has a -5 wisdom modifier, okay? But yeah, you can also find me here next Wednesday playing in the Promethean one-shot. It will be run by Teddy.
Yeah, good news. I did figure out what's gonna be going on. So
Oh, good.
Yay! I still need to finish my character for that.
Both are helpful.
Well, good news. It's a game about creating yourself.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Fox, who are you and where can we find you?
Hi, my name's Fox Barrett. You can find me on Twitter at Fox_Barrett, where I do things like talk about how thunderstorms in Texas are awesome. You can also find me here on the channel every Monday night at some time for the Masks game, Agents of Aegis, some frig. You can find me playing Masks every Monday night on the channel is where you can find me. And I've got another game coming up. It just got bumped to May. We're still working out details, but it's a fantasy age game, and more on that once I know more.
Aegis Shield of Earth?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the only Aegis one in the list. So.
Yeah. That's us. Okay. I definitely know the game I'm in.
Yes. Thoroughly.
I'm the smart one.
I was just a suggestion.
No. Thank you for the save.
Tarstan, who are you and where can we find you?
I'm Tarstan. I'm usually in the Discord, either lurking and or doing whatever. And I'm usually here when we play on Saturdays with the Call to Rising game.
Shogun, who are you and where can we find you?
I am Shogun. I'm Shogun117 on Twitter, and I run the Mimic Nights game every second, fourth, and fifth Tuesday of the month. It is a 5th edition D&D game. It's very homebrew and very crazy. And this Tuesday we'll be playing, and we were going to have tea and war. I play every other Thursday in the Pokemon game, which is evil and is wonderful. And then all the other Thursdays I run Shadowrun, which is a drop-in, drop-out game. So if you don't have time to commit to a long-form game, you can just drop in for one session or 2 sessions or whatever you have time for. And that's all the other Thursdays. And I will be playing in the every other Saturday, Vampire Sabbat Berlin 66 game with my new character, which I love my new character. My new character is a crazy person, super, super paranoid in Berlin during the Cold War. So there's spies everywhere. So they're going crazy like, that person's a spy, and they might be right. Yeah. That's it.
Wild, who are you and where can we find you?
All right. Sorry if this is a bit long. I'm Wild Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me later today / tomorrow, 4 a.m. Eastern on Scraticus's channel for a charity event for NPC Bree, trying to help her raise some funds for some medical issues. You can catch me on Mondays at 2 Eastern for Call of Cthulhu on Scraticus channel, and at what time is our 8?
It's 9:30 is
9:30 Eastern on Masks. Agents of Shield. No.
Aegis Shield of Earth.
Yes.
Masks. Teenagers being crappy to each other.
And on Tuesday, I'm a guest viewer on a Scraticus channel. It's a game based off of the Wacky Races cartoon. So yeah, that's a lot going on.
Capjack just got a happy.
I love the old Wacky Races, all the Hanna-Barbera stuff. It's so good.
Fact.
True.
Yeah, Capjack, who are you and where can you find you?
Hey everybody, I'm Capjack, or at Captain J Cross on the Twitters. You can find me all over the place here on Welcome to the Party. As has been mentioned, on the 2nd, 4th, and 5th Tuesdays, I am in the Mimic Nights game. And yes, we are having tea and war with my character's mother starting this week. It's going to be delightful, darlings. And then on Friday night, you can find me here for Dragon Dark Days, where we are running through the jungles of Chultz. We fought a T-Rex. Then we fought some ghasts, and the ghasts, well, the T-Rex almost ate us. But, you know, like, you know,
T-Rex.
and it spat, and it vomited wasps. So rude. Worst T-Rex ever. Oof.
Rude.
And then, starting this Saturday and every other Saturday afterwards, is the Sabbat 66 game, where we're going to be in Berlin in the middle of the Cold War, and it's going to be terrible. It's going to be so much fun. Cold War spy thriller. It'll be amazing. And then, of course, this Wednesday is the Promethean game. So stop on by and watch us. My character is just going to talk mad shit and not be able to back any of it up. So hope the rest of the party can. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ninja Teddy, and I'm the one who's very thankful for Capjack's character because you helped me make a decision on what I was gonna go with. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at NerdyTeddy. I'm here a lot. Which will be less for a little bit. I will be continuing to run Aegis Shield of Earth Monday nights, 9:30 EST. I am the one running the Promethean one-shot on Wednesday, which will cap almost a year of me playing almost every Wednesday. And then I'm going to take a break and I'm going to watch Mage then play Wardens of Whitechapel instead, which I'm excited to just watch them play it. Thursdays I switch between Shadowrun and being one of the other evil people in Pokemon.
So good.
That is all I have until I too join the Savant game as a guest someday. It will happen. I've already talked to Zed. I just don't know when.
So excited.
I should look up. I should make sure we.
Celine would make a great Sabat.
Not wrong.
Except for the fact that she hates almost everything about this bot.
She hates everything.
Well,
Doesn't matter who you are, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that's mostly true, but she doesn't hate Audra anymore. That is something.
Yeah. I think we can bond over our mutual hatred for things.
You hate stuff. I hate stuff. Besties.
Well, that depends. How much of a
Rivals.
nodist are you?
You know,
Bit.
Mitch.
Actually, my character is quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, that might put a bit of a
Minor schism.
minor. Yeah, minor. Minor season.
Minor
Not
issue.
quite modest. How do you feel about demons?
Demons are alright. It's fine.
Yeah, she doesn't have a problem with demons. I mean, demon worshippers aren't the one who killed her husband. Let's see here.
And one of the most awesome of us.
All right, good. I found somebody for us to raid.
Woo!
We are going to raid Party Way of Games. As long as I type it right this time. Yes. Hi. Come see us next time. Tomorrow, where they're playing all kinds of games, I'm sure. Hi.
Stuff happens on channel. Use eyeballs to watch.
Yes, Lucian was behind this whole plot here. Definitely.
I'm not surprised.
Not at all.
Okay.
There it goes.
We have
There we
raided.
go.
You're waving. Okay.
And raid.
Oh,